Hello and welcome to Ticker Ventures, where we meet up with one of Australia's most successful and passionate entrepreneurs who's here to give another entrepreneur some thoughts, ideas, and some extra focus. And remember, folks, all the views and opinions in the following segment are, of course, our own. Now, Fred Schebesta, you're the founder of Finder.com, and you join me now. How are you?
I'm great. Just
Good.
been nice and tidily locking down.
Yes, yeah, I imagine it's a bit quieter on the streets where you are at the moment.
It's kind of nice sometimes, but just getting out, trying to work, and Bitcoin's flying, so I'm happy.
I'm going to ask you about crypto in a moment, but I wanted to actually get your thoughts. We've been covering all of this space race stuff at the moment with Jeffrey and Richard Bezos, etc. When does the Schebesta space program kick off? And what are your thoughts on the amount of money that these guys are pouring into these ventures? I just wanted to get your slant on this.
Yeah, 2031, going to be launching the rocket, the Schebesta rocket. But man, I love it. I think of it like, like when Christopher Columbus was like being funded by like Queen Ferdinand, and she was, sending ships over to like different parts of the world and trying to find new places. That's literally just what's happening. It's the exact same thing.
The frontier. Yeah, it's exciting times. Now watching the footage there is just awesome. So I want to know another side of the coin, literally the crypto coin. What percentage of your employees actually opted into receiving crypto? I understand you guys put that together within Finder as a payment method, but I was just curious to know who jumped in.
I think it's about a couple of percent. It's not massive yet. I think people are just getting their admin together and figuring out their investments. But I think it's interesting, and it's one of those things. We've also got recurring buys launching this, and I think that might also spur a bit more of that on as well. So awesome. you can just set and forget and discount, and dollar cost average in all the time.
Fantastic. All right. Well, without further ado, let's bring in Richard Joffe, who's the founder and CEO of Honey Insurance, and he's here to ask you a few questions and pick your brain. How you doing?
Good. Nice to meet you guys. Hey, Fred. How are you? So
let's get started. Now, I understand you guys might have a bit of a history. You know each other?
Yeah, Rich likes cheese.
There you go.
And
I like free cheese more than I like just any cheese.
Yeah. So he loves to come around to my house and eat my cheese.
Well, I mean, I wish we'd brought some cheese for today's discussion, but Richard, do you want to pick Fred's brain about a few things that you're looking to get done in relation to your business today?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest, so we've launched a digital home insurance company. The value prop is giving away up to $500 of free tech and services for people to actually protect them in their lives. I think the biggest issues that we face is just inertia, right? If you think about the average Australian consumer, there's about a 27% loyalty tax, which in simple English means if you have stayed with your insurance provider for the last 3, 4, 5 years, you're paying about 27% more. That's on average in this country that you should be for insurance, just for sticking around. And the issue is that most people just couldn't be bothered shopping around. They think that they can only shop around at the end of the 12-month period, which is not true. You can cancel anytime legally. You can get a refund for the months you haven't used. But I think Australians have been kind of lulled, which is very convenient for the incumbents, right? They've been kind of lulled into this idea that no, you only kind of switch at the end of the year. It's all much of a muchness. And the reality is they're paying like $400 on average too much, and they can switch anytime. So I think the thing that we're trying to figure out is how do you cut through that? How do you help to re-educate a market in an industry where people are just very apathetic? It's like banking, right? Like I bought my home insurance, whatever, even though they're over 5 years, they're overpaying $2,500 on average in this country. So it's like a really meaningful line. The average person, it's not a candy bar. It's a lot of money. Putting aside better products out there, and we're trying to figure out like how do you cut through that noise and how do you get attention for this like very meaningful issue, right?
I think I was thinking about your business in that sense, and for anyone who is moving home or hasn't wants to get a really refreshing home insurance policy, well worth checking out Rich's product. He kindly helped insure my house as well, which is really nice. One of the things I think is interesting here is essentially you're asking people to change behavior. And, let's go back in time. What are some behaviors that in financial services did we change? Well, we stopped going to the branch and instead we started using ATMs. And then we stopped using ATMs and we started just using cash. Or, we started using buy now, pay later instead of using credit cards and things like that. I think the key in all of it is a mixture of two things. One, just enough consumer value. Like, I get a lot of just extreme value from the product. And I think there's some beauty in, your product in terms of, with the extra sensors and things like that. And I think there's, it's a different way of doing things, and it's beautiful as well from an experience perspective. So I think that's part of it. I think the second part, and I think, in some way, shape or form, getting, whether it's a small or a large, starting bit of usage in some way, shape or form, I think would be good. I'm not sure what that might be. It might be a fire check, or I'm not sure exactly, but there's something in it that's, people are probably thinking about, worried about, and, there's probably some sort of lever or growth hack in that, in some way, shape or form. My other suggestion on this, and I've been thinking about this, is to basically take an extremely strong counter position as a brand. Like, come out and say some outrageous things that are literally counter to everyone else. Like, they do this and we do this. They do that and we do this. I'm not sure what all these things are, but you
mean like the Mac? Mac and PC. Mac did an amazing job. When they came out and kind of created this juxtaposition. Like, we're the only digital home insurance company that's kind of designed for millennials, and we're giving out free stuff on day one rather than trying not to give out stuff if something goes wrong. And so, like, that idea of juxtaposing the incumbents with kind of this Mac or PC idea where, where you're like, look, you're kind of using a Nokia. It hasn't changed in 30 years, literally. Like, your insurance covers gold bullion. We're talking crypto 2 minutes ago. Your current home insurance covers like fur, stamps, and gold bullion. It's literally that ridiculous. And so the actual product just doesn't make sense. It's not proactive. It doesn't cover what you want. You can imagine kind of comparing like an old Nokia phone effectively to a smartphone. But I think that's kind of what you're saying, right? You need to figure out a way to make it very clear how it's used.
Yeah, I'm thinking from a messaging and a branding perspective. It's like, Virgin Atlantic just basically picked a fight with the biggest dog in the market with BA, and basically there are other airlines. It's not like there weren't other airlines around, but they just went absolutely like against them, just the biggest dog in the market. And I think something like that, like pick a fight with someone and take a counter position against someone. Like, who are you against? Who are you not? We're not this brand, and we don't stand for that. We're, I don't know, if NRMA is saying that we're all about help, you're all about not needing any help because you've already provided the help before you've even joined the policy, or it's just something extremely counter to what is out there. And I think that message would resonate. You just, it's disruptive. It's got to be thumb stopping when you're scrolling. It's like, what? Can you say that? And I think Athena did a good job of that. They really, so we're here to pay off your home loan, not to give you take as much money from you or whatever it is. I think that some sort of strong, some sort of strong position.
So the big thesis behind Honey Insurance is that about 50% of all things that can happen that are bad to your house are actually avoidable. Half of the things are floods or bushfires. We're not going to kind of stop forces of nature, but half of them are, your fire alarm went off while you were in the movies and you didn't get a notification, or your flexi hoses are bursting, you didn't know about it, right? And so we think we can stop half of the bad things that happen to homes, and those are saved lives, saved homes. And And so we probably should make sure we're doing a very tight job, I think, positioning, as you said, right? Like the existing industry exists, whether you like it or not, of bad things happening, and then prices go up, and that's the cycle. And we're trying to do the exact inverse. We're saying we'll pay $500 up front with smart sensors and other value-added services in the hopes that we can actually reduce by 50% bad things that happen to you. Like we actually want your price to go down over time. It's very counter. We have to figure out how to make that a simple soundbite, I think, for people, but it is exactly the opposite of how it currently works in the world, I think, for insurance, right? It's tough to put that in a banner ad. That's the issue, right? It's a more complicated message.
But just, I think everyone in insurance is always saying, oh, get 15% off or something, and it's like, we'll pay you 15%. Or I don't know, like, if, scratch that, it's like 50%, we want to pay you 50% of your policy today. Or, like something.
And what's your take on PR? Are you a big believer that all PR is good PR? Or do you feel like there's a limit to that?
So I think there's negative press, but so that's, if there's genuinely something bad, then, it's not going to be great. But I think, if you're in a fight and you're, coming out strong and you're talking about things and people are taking, they're pulling the eyes and whatever out of you, I wouldn't worry. Other people will take the other side. I think the classic one I always think about with this is the entire, this is probably a bad example because eventually they got regulated out of the market, was the payday loan market in the UK was built on negative PR. The whole thing. They got so much hate, like just hate. But because they got so much hate, they basically built so many links on the internet and they ranked so highly for the keywords that they just crushed the market, right? And they just created more hate basically on purpose to rank higher and get more traffic, and then the whole cycle continued, right? I don't know whether that's the best example of that, but but I do think, and they got regulated out of the market, like literally they no longer exist. But I do think that there is, some sort of strategic ploy there that can connect together, whether or not that is about, I just think you got to pick a fight with someone, Rich. That's a straight chat. You need to pick a fight with someone and create a lot of noise.
Is fight the right word, Fred?
Well, you fight. Like, what do you stand for and what do you stand against? And then, and really what it is, it's like you don't, you're not going to worry. Oh, there aren't that many people that not everyone's going to join you. No, they're not. But some people will, because they're fed up with whatever it is out there. They're fed up with, they want to go and join the other. And I think from a humanity perspective, if you can pick such a strong fight and create it as such a different, maybe not fight, but if you can create such a other, and it's so clear what you're against and what you're for and what they're, what you're against them on, then some people will literally just switch because they just want to be on the other team. They don't. They just. They don't even have a. They don't even have a reason. Like it's it's an irrational reason where it's like, I'm gonna go and join Honey because I just don't want to be with the other people. I want to be the other one. Just for the hell of it. And that's a starting audience.
Yeah, you paint a very vivid picture. And Richard, I hope you've taken something away from today's discussion. Guys, that's all we've got time for. But I want to thank both of you for coming on the program and unpacking a few things. I was getting very involved in that, so thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Fred. Nice to see you.
Easy done. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Guys, that's it for another episode of Ticker Ventures for today. Stay tuned on tickernews.co for more content and news, of course. And I'm Mike Letter. I look forward to seeing you again next time.
The news stream never sleeps. As the sun rises above Melbourne, New York rings the final bell. Then Singapore comes online and Hong Kong's in play. The Middle East pushes for change and Europe makes its move.
We've got your ticket to the world right here.
Watch the world unfold with Adrian Franklin, journalist and first with breaking news. Market-moving perspectives on the stories shaping your day. Ticker News, weekdays